supportive and positive learning experience to our club members so that they are empowered to develop communication and leadership skill, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With this, I announce the meeting as open and would like to hand over the stage to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Catherine, to have a few words.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rajat. Good evening, good morning. Welcome, Toastmasters. Welcome to Toastmasters for Professionals. I do apologize. My voice is really running away from me. I'm just running a cold, but I know that today we will have a wonderful and intimate meeting. I want to thank all of you, Toastmasters, who have volunteered to become role takers and to take space in the meeting. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for giving of your service. I want to give a special thank you to Guillermo. Will you please raise your hands and give a wonderful applause to him for serving our club, irrespective of time, position, and I really appreciate that about you. Thank you so much. You're a true Toastmaster. And just to remind us, there is going to be a migration of our pathways tonight. So if you haven't looked at your pathways to download your material, please, you have just a few hours before the sale, before the ship sails. And other than that, I would have loved to show a video of what the new pathways would look like. It will be more user-friendly, certainly. But because of time and in honor of the members who have come to the meeting, I will share the video with many of us so that we can share it with one another on email. Take time to look at it. It's very, very user-friendly. It is something you should be looking forward to. It also provides a lot more integrity in our records, so you are able to know what role you played, if you earned a badge, but also it engages us in supporting one another. We should be able to support one another and say, oh my goodness, the Toastmaster of the day did a fantastic job today. She needs a badge. And then we go in there and give her a badge. So that's more than just doing it in the chat groups. We're also now migrating into the system and being able to acknowledge one another for the services that we offer one another. Without further ado, I'd like to invite our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Jimmy Shai King. Thank you for offering your time. You are a distinguished Toastmaster in every way, and today is no other on the 75th meeting that you come to bring us the celebration of Toastmasters at 100. Will you please raise your hands and welcome the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Jimmy Shai King. Thank you.
Such an eloquent introduction. Thank you so much, Catherine, for that. That was absolutely amazing. So today, this is an auspicious occasion. And what that means is special. And it's a celebration because of the success that Toastmasters International has experienced over this 100-year period of time. The centennial celebration is happening in this month, October, on the 22nd. In 1924, Dr. Ralph Smedley started Toastmasters International. I know that he never dreamed that it would be what it is today. The statistics that I have tell me that there are some 270,000 plus members worldwide. There are members in 149 countries. Amazing. In over 14,000 clubs around the world. Just think of that. Dr. Smedley started out in March of 1924, meeting with a group of people trying to lay the groundwork for what he thought would be this phenomenal group. And then on October 22nd, they came together in the basement of the YMCA in Santa Ana, California. And that was the first meeting of Toastmasters. They elected officers that same night. They were so excited. And then the next week, they didn't waste any time. They had a meeting the next week. And what they had decided to do as their primary focus, he wanted to have young men to learn how to propose an official toast. And that is how it got the name Toastmasters. Now, a little bit about Dr. Smedley. He was someone who loved to camp. He liked to fish. He played the flute and he played the piano. He and his wife had one child. Her name was Betty. And she loved her dad because she's written so many things about him in all this time. I'm going to be giving out additional tidbits of information as we move along. But at this point, I would like to introduce the team that's going to make this meeting a success. And we'll start with our grammarian and that person and our R counter, Swati.
Hello everyone, welcome to this 75th Toastmasters session. Today I'm playing two roles. One is R counter and the grammarian. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or filter words by anyone who speaks in the session today. I'll listen for overused words such as well, you know. I'll also listen to words like this means, it is, I'll report the number of times each speaker used those expressions at the end of the meeting. Now, as a grammarian, I'll also pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully for their language use. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of today's meeting is meticulous, which means very careful and precise. A sample sentence could be like, the artist's meticulous attention to detail made the painting look incredibly realistic. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. Thank you. I'll provide my report when called upon at the end of the meeting.
Thank you so much for that meticulous description of what you'll be doing as the grammarian, okay? And the R counter. Our next position explanation will be that of our timer. And our timer today is Rajat.
Thank you very much, Mary. So I am playing the timer for the today's meeting. So timing is very important to stay precise and to the point because many a time we just keep on speaking and we forget about the time and our audience gets bored or start thinking when this person will stop speaking. So we must stay on time. So to help you on stay time, I will be using timer card as my background. So let me give you a brief demonstration. So when you will on the time, I will be showing on green card. When you have just 1 minute left, I'll showing you the yellow card. And when your time will be over, I will show the red card. And the timing is different for a different section. For prepared speeches, we have two prepared speeches. One is 10 to 12 minutes long and another is 4 to 6 minutes long. So I'll be showing card accordingly. And for table topics rounds, the timing will be 2 to 3 minutes. And I'll show cards accordingly. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, DTM Many.
Thank you so much for that meticulous description of the timer's responsibilities. And our next person should actually be our general evaluator. We don't have anyone listed for that role, so can someone step up and be our general evaluator?
I can do that.
So you're going to take on two roles?
Yes, I'll do that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Can you describe what you will be doing as our general evaluator, please?
Sure. As a general evaluator, even before the meeting began, how we started the meeting, from that time my observation starts until the minute the meeting closes. So what is done and what is not done, and what Toastmasters has stipulated that we must do in a meeting. All these will be taken care of. Observations will be made, and when I'm asked to present the report, I'll present it at the end. And during the general evaluation section, my tag team, that is a timer, our counter, and grammarian, I will request them to present their report, and they will present it, and also the speech evaluator. After that, I will present my report. Is it okay? How many minutes do I have for the for the general evaluation report?
It's 3 to 4 minutes.
4 minutes? Okay. So the timer will show the timing. Okay. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much for that. Everyone is being so meticulous, and there's no way that we could not understand what their roles are. Thank you so much for that. At this time, I would like to turn this over to evaluator number 1, and that's Stephen Bowie. You will introduce the prepared speech by Trekka. The mic is yours, sir.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, DeMarie. I have the honor today to introduce our speaker number 1. She will be delivering a speech using the pathway dynamic leadership, and her level is level 5. Reflect on your path. And the time for the timer, the time will be between 10 and 12 minutes. So it makes sense to turn on the light, green light at 10 minutes, yellow light at 11, and red light at 12 minutes, if that's okay with you, Trekka. And her title today is Intentional Effort, the transformative results with reflection on my dynamic leadership pathway. So today, Trekka will share reflection from her dynamic leadership journey. I'm looking forward to that. And she will be focusing on how small, intentional efforts and the support of peers and the deliberate practice helped her grow as a speaker. Now, together, we will explore the lessons she learned and the power of mentorship in achieving personal and professional goals. So I'm excited to hear your speech. And to you, Trekka, intentional effort, transformative results, reflection on my dynamic leadership pathway.
Thank you so much. Chris Poole completed 37 levels in her pathway levels in a single year. And it blew my mind. I was like, somebody in the group said, gosh, does she have a life? But I suddenly was wondering, how the heck did she do that? What is her system? How can I learn from her? What is going on with that? And then it opened my mind even further. And what I realized is like, if she can do that, what could I do? I don't even know what the limits of what's possible for me yet. Chris taught me that you can push boundaries, challenge yourself. And also she taught me about leadership. And I became incredibly curious about what people like her did differently to become successful. And how could I do that too? There was a bit of a plot twist there, because what I realized in investigating that it wasn't always about pathways and it wasn't about competitions. For me, what I learned is that it's about intentional effort, and it's about having the right resources, and it's about peers and the community that you choose to surround yourself with. And upon further research, I learned an interesting statistic. Did you know that 70% of the people who start a pathway never complete it? 70%. It blew my mind. And what I realized is like, oh, that's an opportunity. What if we could challenge each other to actually complete the pathways? What kind of support would you need in order to do that? And what goals do you have? I started to think about how every project, every speech, every role is an opportunity to expand and add fuel to your own fire. So when I started to think about leadership, it's not just about grand gestures. It's about small, intentional steps. And then what else is possible? Now, I'm a marketer. I spent many, many years as a marketer. And one of the first things you need to know about being a marketer is know your audience. So when I went to one of my Toastmaster clubs, I was like, who's even here? What are your priorities? What are your goals? Why did you join Toastmasters in the first place? I can't help you meet a goal if I don't know what it is. And so I created a survey and I sent it out. We had a really good response rate. Over 80% of the people responded. And in looking at the data, what I realized is that we had some people that had very big goals. They wanted to do a TEDx talk. They wanted to be paid professional speakers, and they were using it to leverage their own careers. And they needed some help. And so I went into action and I was like, okay, now that I have all this data, what's next? I took the information per person, all of their survey responses, and I threw it into ChatGPT, and I used it to create a roadmap for every single person in the club. And then I emailed them all. Here's your roadmap. Here's the next steps. Let's think about what's happening for you over the next 6 to 12 months. What are we going to celebrate when that's over? And then also, here's a calendar link if you want to meet with me one-on-one. Over half of the group scheduled one-on-one meetings with me, and I would challenge them. And I said, hey, listen, like, how could we make the next 6 months as good as it possibly can? And I told them the story about my friend Chris. Chris did 37 levels. I'm like, how many can you do in the next 6 months? What's possible? And can you not leave that to chance? I want you to schedule everything out for like what your plan is for the next 6 months. And I had a couple people in my group that they actually booked every single speech and every single role for the next 6 months. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, game on. Here we go, people." And so that was so exciting to see them just get really into the energy and the excitement of all of that. And then I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. We need some resources." I'm a fairly new person in Toastmasters. I've only been around for about a year. And what was really helpful for me was to have resources outside of the pathways, right? I was studying a lot of YouTube videos. I was studying different websites. And so what I did is I collected some resources for the group as a whole. So we created a video library that had tools from everything from how to navigate pathways. I created some videos for our group, like here's how you navigate pathways, show them the screenshots. And then also structures of a speech, how to work with those, how to work with your notes, and how to give and receive feedback. And my goal was to have people take ownership of their growth and not leave it to chance. And to create stepping stones, like here's the path, here's some things to be thinking about, here's how we can navigate that. And always, here's my calendar. If we need to talk about anything, I'm available. And then the other thing is there was a member in our group who's really strong on evaluations. In fact, he goes to other clubs and teaches evaluations, and he had a huge impact on me. One of the things that he said about evaluations is that when you understand, like, it's helpful for the club to have really strong evaluators so that the speaker can get better, but it also helps you as the evaluator because you need to understand what's a great speech look like. And if you don't know what a great speech looks like, you can't provide feedback very well. So I studied how to provide great feedback and what a great speech looks like so that I could be a better contributor to our group. And so I collected all these videos and I collected a bunch of resources. I put them together in a Google Doc and I shared it far and wide. And it was so fun to see people embrace that material. And overall, the standard of the group got better and better. And it was so exciting. So then I started to wonder, okay, this is the club that I'm participating in. What else is out there? And who's doing awesome things? What's different? And what can I learn from them? What can I incorporate into our experience? What else is out there? So I went on a quest. Earlier this year, I found a list on the Toastmaster website about all of the clubs that meet online that were listed there. I made a big spreadsheet and I just started visiting a bunch of different clubs. So far this year, I've visited over 50 different Toastmaster clubs. Instead of watching TV, I would go to a Toastmaster club. And what was interesting is every single one of them had something just a little bit different, and they did things that were great. And so I could bring those back to my clubs, right? And then while I was in the club meetings, I would start looking for like, okay, who's the standout? Who's the extraordinary people in this group? And I'd pick out one or two and I'd send them a calendar link and say, I want to know how you got so good. And can we schedule some one-on-one time? Those meetings were like a master class in leadership and how people get from good to extraordinary. And after every meeting, every Toastmaster meeting, and after every one-on-one meeting, I'd sit down and debrief and I'd take notes like a mad woman. I was like, okay, what did I learn? What do I want to apply? I created a spreadsheet of best practices that I was compiling over time. And what was interesting is one of the clubs that I visited, they have a heavy emphasis on tech. And so they have like 5 minutes every meeting dedicated to new technology that can help speakers. So anything from Udly for AI to different presentation software. And that was all up for discussion. So every meeting, even beyond the speeches, I learned something new that I could apply. And so I used to think that leadership was about something just huge, right? A big win. But I learned that the small, intentional relationships and resources and challenging each other had an exponential impact on what we were trying to do. The other thing that I decided to do was push myself. How can I lead by example? I have all these great ideas, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick me. How can I be the one that's pushing myself forward? So Chris showed me what was possible. And then in Q3 of this year, I attended a Toastmaster meeting 7 days a week. I was just constantly bathing in all of these ideas, right? And I'm on track now to complete 3 pathways in 2024. And so more than just checking boxes, what I learned is it's about who I'm becoming in the process. And to me, that's even more exciting. It's about my communication, it's about my leadership. And so I'm curious, like, to challenge you, what's one small thing that you could do to stretch yourself? What's possible for you? And so I also learned about the power of peers and that leadership is contagious. Chris taught me how to level up, and Ramona is a world champion speaker, and she inspired me as well. And she helped me imagine what's like a bigger vision for myself than I even knew was possible. So looking around this room, who inspires you? We meet with them regularly. Who inspires you and who could you learn from? Have you had a meeting with them? I'm curious that I believe that everybody has something to learn and something to teach. And so to wrap it up, reflecting on my dynamic leadership path, I learned that leadership isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Taking the next step, supporting each other, and getting better every day. So, my question to you is, how will you get better every day? 6 months from now, how will you be different as a result of this experience and the effort that you're putting into it? Thank you very much. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you so much for that meticulous information, Trecca. Can we have 1 minute on the clock, Mr. Timer, while the evaluator makes his notes? Thank you. And if anyone else wants to send Trecca a message in the chat, feel free to do that as well. How are we doing, Mr. Timer?
Yeah, it's you can go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you so much. And when we talk about being meticulous, I want you to know that Dr. Smedley was that kind of person. My research tells me that he spent 40 years deciding to start Toastmasters International. And when he spent all this time contemplating and deciding what route to take, he came up with IRSE: integrity, respect, service, and excellence, because he was someone who believed in education and he wanted every effort to be the best that it could be. In doing so, once Toastmasters International was formed, my research tells me that the first woman did not join until 1970. They're debating whether it was 1970 or 1973. And in order for her to join, she changed her name to that of a man named Homer. She cut her hair and she wanted to appear to be a man because they had not accepted women in at that time. However, she went on to become the first female president, international president of Toastmasters International, because of her dedication to the core values of Toastmasters that served her well. And her name was Helen Blanchard. Let's not forget that. I don't want to talk about just Homer. We want to recognize who she was. And then they talked about the first African-American person whose name was Ted Wood. He joined Toastmasters in 1966 and became the first African-American president in 1986. And he was a Toastmaster for over 40 years until his death, which was remarkable. He loved what he did. Toastmasters left an indelible imprint on everyone who became a part of the organization. And that is just where I'll leave it until we continue. I'd like for our second evaluator, who is Trekka, to introduce our second speaker. The mic is yours.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited that Catherine is blessing us with a meticulous speech, no doubt, from her icebreaker from Visionary Communications. It's 4 to 6 minutes. Catherine, and her title of her speech is 9 Lives. Catherine, turning it over to you.
A cat, I'm told, has 9 lives. If that's true, I know how it feels, said Carol Chessman. A woman has 9 lives like a cat, says John Haywood. It was this morning when I awoke and I thought I was having a very rude nightmare. A doctor, a lawyer, a fine artist, a musician, an IT professional, no, a teacher, a business administrator, an entrepreneur, a communication expert were the words I heard from my parents and my teachers when I was about 15 years old. I wondered how I was going to twirl through these 9 lives. They had a vision for who they thought I wanted to be. And this came about because I was juggling between choosing to take mathematics or history, between choosing to take fine art or music. They had determined that my life or my lives were going to be spelled out through the subjects I was taking at 15. I was born in 1976, born to Fred and Margaret. I was the first beautiful, black, beautiful, dark chocolate, beautiful girl they brought on this earth. They darted over me. They threw all their love over me after just 2 boys. I was the center of attraction. Can I tell you, I was and I am extremely beautiful, both on the outside and the inside, but more on the inside. So let me tell you something, friends, about who this Catherine is. Charming, kind, vivacious, strong, passionate, compassionate, and loving. If I were to tell you that I actually followed the 9 lives, you would not believe me. But there are 3 areas or 4 areas that I knew, even at 15, that I wanted to be defined by. If there's anything you go away with, Toastmasters and guests, remember this. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be identified as a leader who's not taking a walk in the park. I wanted to multiply myself, my gifts, and my talents. And the fact that I won the battle and decided to take mathematics over history, I decided to take music over fine art. I do not know if I lived the 9 lives I just mentioned, but this is what happened. I met Toastmasters along the way. I met Toastmasters after I had become everything and more of the 9 lives. At the time, I was a married woman, a mother, I was a CEO, I was a community worker. I was a community member. I was a choir member. I was an artist. I was the 9 lives. And then I learned about innovative planning. Then I discovered dynamic leadership. These 2 parts have defined the energies and the synergy that I needed to align my work as successful, a leader, a multiplier. I am not taking a walk in the park. There are thousands of young girls and women running after me and saying, we want to be like you, we want to be like you, we want to be like you, despite the odds, despite the weaknesses, despite the challenges. And what has happened to my 9 lives? My 9 lives have been defined by, once I settle into a moment, then I'm uprooted and taken to another, then I'm uprooted and taken to another. And in this process of reinventing myself, I have learned that you can be successful, you can lead, and you can multiply yourself. But that I'm thankful for the gift, Toastmasters. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Mr. Timer, can we have 1 minute on the clock, please, for the evaluator to contemplate? And then if there are any members who want to send Catherine a message, feel free to do that as well.
Yes, we are good to go. Give me that.
Thank you so much. So anytime I have an assignment or a responsibility, I do an enormous amount of research. I wanted to know, when was the first time an international convention was held outside the United States for Toastmasters International? And my research told me that that was in 2014. And the place that it went to outside of the United States for the first time was Malaysia. That's where the first international convention was held. I also found out that the headquarters is in Inglewood, Colorado. So when you call Toastmasters International, that's where you're calling, Inglewood, Colorado. I also wanted to know what area had the largest number of clubs. And I'm sure you can guess that. all you have to do is some meticulous thinking. And it's California. California boasts over 1,260 clubs. So that's the largest number of clubs in the Toastmaster family. I also wanted to know what was the average in terms of DTMs. And research tells us that less than 1% of the over 240,000 members ever become a distinguished Toastmaster. I thought that was amazing. So would Dr. Smetley recognize Toastmasters International today? I think he would be so pleased at where this organization has grown to. And we should be very proud of the history or the legacy that he left in terms of his desire for excellence when he set out with Toastmasters International. I will now turn the meeting over to our table topics master. You have the mic.
Yeah, thank you. Table topic session is considered the most interesting session because that is a session when people speak off the cuff. They think on their feet and speak off the cuff. Now, being a table topic speaker, what is it that we get? What is it that we learn? We learn to observe, pay attention, listen, think with calmness, organize our thoughts, and present it neatly, concisely, and clearly in those 2 seconds. That brevity is the soul of wit. That is what Francis Bacon said. So that brevity we are able to achieve because of Toastmasters. This table topic session is a great advantage for that reason. I hope every one of you give it a shot. Please use the word of the day, meticulous, which our grammarian has given us today. You can volunteer to speak by raising your hand or use the reaction icon. If not, I may call upon you randomly. Before we begin, I request the timer to read out the timing guidelines for the table topic session.
Of course. So table topics, I'll show green card at 2 minutes and yellow at 2 minutes 30 and red at 3 minutes. Once you see the red card, you still have 30 seconds to wrap up your thoughts. Over to you, table topic master, Vijay.
Thank you. Are you all ready? Yes? Who's going to be the first speaker? Who will be the first speaker? I can't see the icon. Yes, okay. Toastmaster of the day, Mary. Thank you so much. According to you, what are the 3 most important qualities for a leader? Timing starts as soon as you begin to talk. You may take about 10 to 15 seconds to think. What are the 3 important qualities of a leader according to you? 3 most important qualities.
The 3 most important qualities of a leader is someone who cares about humanity or mankind. Someone who is a servant leader, which is what we're taught as one of the core values of Toastmasters, and someone who shows up with passion and organization. Those qualities to me would help a person to, first of all, bond with their team, which is very important because there's no I in team, and you have to work with other people to be successful. And if you're a servant leader, you're leading by example. So your team gets a chance to see exactly what it is that it takes to create someone that has good leadership qualities. And the passion that you have is attached to the vision that you have that you want to achieve for your team. So when you combine those things together, that describes a dynamic leader. And I say that because that is the kind of effort it took for me to develop my DTM project. I couldn't do it by myself. I knew that I needed help. And the end result was absolutely phenomenal. Because of meticulous planning, I had structured with my team the first annual International Domestic Violence Survivors Empowerment Summit as my DTM project. I was in awe. I had no idea that the passion that I felt for Toastmasters would lead me to end up developing an international summit for the survivors of domestic violence. Industry professionals came together. We were able to pull this off, and I was humbled because anytime the team comes together and can see the realization of a vision in actuality, it is absolutely astounding. It was a meticulous operation that netted so much that this year, on the 19th of this month, we're having the second annual International Domestic Violence Survivors Empowerment Summit. And to my amazement, mostly all of the team players from last year have said they will participate. Amazing and humbling. So once you decide to be a dynamic leader, it's a humbling experience. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Yeah, I think Grija dropped. Let's wait a minute. She will be joining later.
Sorry, for a minute, I think I lost the connection. So I come back here, and do I start again with the next speaker? I couldn't listen to the last part of her speech. So for the next speaker, the topic. Did you start with it? Are you all able to hear me? You are able to? Okay. So who's going to be the next speaker? I think the timer, Rajat. Lovely. Can I give the topic, or here somebody has already given him a topic? No one has given. Okay. So 3 important traits that Toastmasters builds. 3 important leadership traits that Toastmasters builds through meeting rules.
3 important traits that
3 important
Toastmaster.
leadership traits that we develop because of taking up several meeting roles. Can I list?
Yeah, so I've been doing Toastmaster for like last 1.5 years. So I find that the 3 key skills we develop while taking roles will be collaboration. And second, I would say the conflict resolution. And third, I would say stepping up during emergencies, like they happened, like you did today. Step, stepped up to take general evaluator and table topic master. So when it comes to collaboration, because we as a Toastmaster, we conduct meeting where we need different role players, and different role players need collaboration. Like timer need to collaborate with the speakers, or evaluator needs to collaborate with their target speakers, so they understand what are the requirements of their current speakers, what are the targets they are looking for. Similarly, evaluator needs to reciprocate in terms of to understand what is the need of the speakers. And in terms of table topic master, we talk about, then they need to collaborate with or not only with the members, but also the guests, so that they can encourage them to speak, maybe because these guests might be joining for the first time and they might be afraid. So these kind of collaboration activities I see. And in terms of conflict resolution, I see that many a time there might be situation where club members might have different opinions, or they might have different vision in terms of conducting the meeting, or in terms of particular feature of the meeting. So as a club member or as a club officer, you learn to basically bring everyone together at the same time, ensure that club grows in a way that ensures not only the collective needs of the club, but also the individual needs of their club members as well. And so the conflict resolution, collaboration, and the stepping up during the emergency, that is also some of the like important traits, because Toastmaster is a volunteer activities, and we try our best to basically give our 100%. But sometimes where the crisis happens, like today happened with our DTM Pramod. He was supposed to take the table topic master. So as a role player, we learned to step up to so that meeting can always be conducted in a sound manner, and the time we put into this meeting do not go into waste. So these are the three traits I find we develop as a Toastmaster while taking those. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you. Very lovely explanation. Now, who's the next speaker? I think evaluator 1, Stephen. Thank you. Stephen, the question for you is 3 public speaking challenges people face. 3 public speaking challenges people face. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master. That was a very interesting question. To me, public speaking, the first thing come to my mind is fear. And not just my own fear, because when I did research to see if I'm the only one, or is this something common to a lot of people? And according to my research, the fear of public speaking is second, or maybe up to the same as the fear of dying. And that's how scary it is for a lot of people. And I can attest to that. So number one challenge of public speaking is the fear of public speaking, whether it's real or not. The second challenge, now once you're able to overcome that, the second challenge is learning the skills so that you'll be prepared, so you won't have that fear. So that is something that you can build over time. And this is one of the reasons why I'm here. And I could probably guess most of us are here for a similar reason. And lastly, the last challenge that I could see with public speaking is the audience. Because it could be the best speech was given, but if it was given to the wrong audience, it would not turn out well. This is one of the reasons why when I go to speak, wherever I go to, wherever I travel to, the most important things that I have to do is do research on the audience. And I can share a 10-second tidbit about one of the world's best violinists. He was playing at a subway station in New York, and people passing by, and he was getting maybe $20, $50, $80 for that, what used to cost people to see him up to $2,000-$3,000 for a ticket. The audience did not know how to appreciate him. So lastly, this is very important, is to connect with the audience. And this is what I see today. A lot of us, the speakers, the table topic person that came in for the table topic is able to connect with the audience and share their experience. So there you are, the three most important challenges that we all face as a public speaker. Thank you. Back to you, table topic master.
So, Mr. Tyler, do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, we can accommodate one more.
Okay.
Table topic master Grija, you are speaking on mute.
Still on mute. I think you might be able to help her.
Yep,
There you
now? Okay, yes, because my laptop, the connection is going off, so I also connected with my cell phone, so I'm speaking through that. So the next speaker, shall I call Guillermo? How do I pronounce your name?
Yes, Guillermo.
Guillermo.
Yes. Don't
Pardon
worry
me?
about it too much. Even people in my country
No,
struggle to
I
say it.
want to.
So, okay.
Please tell me.
Guillermo. Did you hear it?
Okay, Guillermo.
Guillermo. Uh-huh.
Okay,
Thank you.
Guillermo. Okay,
Oh,
thank
wow.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, topic is 3 skills you learn in Toastmasters that you can incorporate in your everyday life. 3 skills we learn in Toastmasters, which are very useful to incorporate in our everyday life.
Thank you for the question, Table Topics Master, and for the very meticulous way of pronouncing my name. I appreciate it. Three skills that we get from Toastmasters that we use in our regular lives. When I first started doing speeches, I struggled a lot in the writing process because I wrote something and I said, no, I don't really believe in that. And then I wrote another thing. Well, I don't want to say that either. I don't believe in that either. And so when you write about something, you put it on paper, it forces you to articulate your beliefs. So I believe that Toastmasters taught me to think more about what I say and to whom I say it. Toastmasters also taught me to have more confidence because, as Dr. Bui said, a lot of people get scared of public speaking. And in Toastmasters, when you do it constantly, you get used to it. And you see that if everyone has the same fear, then maybe everything it turns out okay, because nothing happens to the speakers after they give a speech. They improve, if anything. And the third thing that Toastmasters taught me is to evaluate others in my head. When you first start evaluating other speakers, it forces you to say, okay, I liked this part of his speech and I didn't like this other part. And so after you've done your first evaluation, you then start to see the strengths and maybe areas of growth of every speaker. So those are the 3 things that I believe that Toastmaster gives you for your life. Thank you for the question, and back to you. Oh, I believe she disconnected again.
Wow. That was an excellent table topic session. And we knew that we only had one more speech. But actually, Girija is going to be our general evaluator as well once she returns. And in her absence, I think I will go ahead and begin with our first evaluator. And she can take over from there because we do need to do the evaluations of the speeches. So our first evaluator is Stephen. You have the mic.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster the Day. And as I mentioned before, it is, wow, what an exciting speech that you had giving us, knowing that you have spent tremendous amount of energy, effort to craft this meticulous speech. Now, first of all, I want to give an observation of an overall, my impression of the speech. Overall impression of a speech is I want to see how a speaker can connect your words to our hearts. And that's really the determination of how successful you did as a speaker. And you did an excellent job with that, and really share your heart that really touches our hearts. And these are the ways that you show us how to do that. And you really inspired our group with not only your speech, but you set a perfect role model for all of us. And I love how you start your speech with how you were inspired to go through the path and sharing your journey and your help from your friend, and how you connect with the audience in many ways. Number one, through body language, the way you move your hand gestures, your eye contact, even your eyebrow. I noticed the way when you're thinking, I can tell you're thinking. And look at that beautiful smile, ladies and gentlemen. That is a congenial smile that connects your heart to ours, because I can feel the authenticity of your speech. Furthermore, the usage of your words. You are a wordsmith. I know it takes a lot to craft a speech, but not only you craft a speech, you make it as a tool to connect with other people. And the organizational skills is amazing, because there's a lot of information presented in that 10 to 12 minutes, but you break it down in ways that we can digest in small pieces and bits. And you did it in a way that is we can follow the step. And you added the emphasis so that we even know what's important. And you slow down on the important that is important. You raise your voice so that we know it's important. Those are the things that makes it easier for us to remember your speech. Now, let's see. Yes, so on the challenge that I want to challenge you is that you had a great speech, great content, great delivery. One of the things that separate the great speaker to an exemplary speaker is that you don't have to use the aids. So that I don't see it as a problem if you use a piece of paper to keep track. But one of the things that is slightly distracting is the turning of the paper. And I am sure when you're practicing for your next speech, you would do even better. And lastly, on the closing statement, and I love this, the way you deliver it in a way that not only you teach us and showing us how it's done, so that we know that we can do it as well. Because even before you giving me your speech, I was among that 70% that start a pathway that never finished. it just seemed overwhelming. But learning from this, what you had taught, I say, maybe it's possible. And you take that to the next level and you say, you know, how are you going to be better every day? You challenging us to step up. And that is how your delivery have impacted each and every one of us. So I want to thank you from the group, and I see the responses from the group that you had shared a bit of you. Now we all have shared a piece of Traka in our journey. So thank you for that. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much for that, Stephen. And back to Garija. You can call your second evaluator and then you can call your role players. Looks like she dropped off again.
No,
She's on
she's on the she's connecting from mobile.
Okay, she's back. Garija, you can call your second evaluator and then call your role players.
Yes. The second evaluator, can you please join? Request you to present your report.
Awesome. Got it. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for staying around. I know you got a doctor's appointment. 9 lives. Oh my gosh. I love the theme behind your talk and thinking about how we are all multifaceted and have a lot of different interests. And to be able to think about, even as a child, weaving all of those pieces together in adulthood. Your speech as an icebreaker, let's see. I know when you were born, what your parents' names are, what your dreams were when you were 15, and that you're CEO, servant leader, choir. It was fascinating to see all of the pieces of your life come together. And as always, you are by far so talented when it comes to vocal variety and inflection. And there was this moment where you were going on screen with the hand gestures. So the body language was so compelling. My one point for improvement is that I felt like the structure needed some help. I was kind of like, where's she going and how do all these pieces fit together? And I felt like the thread that united it all didn't quite come together as well as it could have. But that's to say that you also had fantastic one-liners in your speech. And I specifically was noting about, I love that you said, like, I'm beautiful inside and out. A nice pause right there to soak it all in, because who says that about themselves? And I'm like, I love you for saying that. And then there were moments where you had really great lines that I was like, oh, I am not just taking a walk in the park. You could do a whole speech on that. Like, your intentionality about pulling together a great life, I think, is so beautiful. And then also how you managed to weave in the Toastmasters aspect of it wasn't quite, I kind of got how that fit in, but I think it could be stronger, right? But I do love knowing that you did innovative planning, and I'm just getting ready to wrap up the dynamic leadership. And so like calling those into specifics of and also how they fit into your life now, and the things that you've got going on are fantastic. So Catherine, it's always a delight to see you speak, and I'm so glad that I got a chance to see you again. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. That was a very lively evaluation, I must say. Now, do we have the grammarian and the accountant presenting the report? Yes. May I have your name, please?
Swati.
Can I have
I'll
shared?
request the grammarian and the accounter. Yes. You want to share?
Yeah.
Is it allowed? Yes. Okay. Toastmaster of the day, would you please allow her to share? I think she wants to share screen. Yes.
So thank you, everyone. I took up 2 roles today, accountant and grammarian, but actually there was nothing to do for me in aspect of accountant. You guys made my job easy. I didn't listen to any crutch words, filler words, or repeated words in today's meeting. So accountant report is nothing to present. Grammarian's report meticulously was used by team Toastmaster of the day, Mary 7 times, which is like by far the best I've seen ever. Toastmaster Trasa used it once. Toastmaster Stephen used it once. A few interesting choice of words or quotations were beautiful both on inside and outside, which is combination of physical beauty and inner beauty. Think on their feet, to be mentally agile or to react very quickly. Brevity is the soul of wit, which means one can say a lot more by using the minimum of language to convey something. Congenial, which means pleasant or likable. Inflection, the modulation of intonation or pitch in the voice. That's all I have to present in this meeting. Thank you for organizing such a meticulous meeting. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator Girija.
Thank you. May I have the timer report?
Sure, thank you very much.
Evaluation section.
Yeah. So I am presenting my report by speaking, and I'll also share on the chat. So on the prepared speak section, both speakers were on time. Toastmaster Tresha completed her speech in 12 minutes 25 seconds. Toastmaster Catherine completed her speech in 5 minutes 20 seconds. And in table topic section, distinguished Toastmaster D. Marie completed her speech in 2 minutes 40. Second, I completed in 2 minutes 50. Toastmaster Stephen completed his speech in 2 minutes 40. And Guillermo completed his speech in 2 minutes 30 seconds. And going back to evaluation section, so Toastmaster Stephen took a little longer, but a 10 to 12 minute speech might take little longer. So he took 4 minutes 50 seconds to complete his evaluation for Toastmaster Teresa's speech, and Toastmaster Teresa took 2 minutes 40 seconds to complete the evaluation of Toastmaster Catherine's speech. So that was timing report from my side. Over to you, General Evaluator Gilja.
Thank you. So now I present the report of the day. General Evaluator's report. Is there anything else that you need to cover as per your Toastmasters protocol, your club protocol? Do I move on to my report?
Yes, absolutely. You will do the General Evaluator's report. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for the repeated interruption in the Zoom. I have no idea. Something is happening today. Very interesting to join suddenly. I see in the group, and then I joined here, and I'm very happy to connect with you all today. When I joined, I couldn't see the Sergeant at Arms presenting the opening. Probably it was already done. Usually in a meeting, there is a general hobnobbing, some what do you call as casual talk, welcoming each other, everything happening before the meeting starts. And once we say okay, it's time for us to start the meeting, then the Sergeant at Arms declares the several internet protocol for the meeting. So whether the people need to keep the camera on, when they have to move, whether they need to put off the camera, if they are not allowed to, or they are requested to desist from eating or drinking anything during the meeting. They're generally renaming the people. All those discussions take place. And then he hands over to the presiding officer. The presiding officer of the club is usually the president or the VP, and they declare the meeting open. They announce that if there are any corrections to the agenda, they clarify it. Somebody proposes that the agenda can be passed, and another person seconds the agenda. Then the presiding officer introduces the Toastmaster of the day, and the Toastmaster of the day begins the talk. So I do not know what happened before I joined. When I joined, it was nice, warm talk happening about the climate all around and what people have been experiencing throughout the globe. And it was interesting to listen to. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I noticed that, okay, someone said, "Oh, Girija, you're here." I didn't have time to introduce myself, and I just plunged into the meeting. It was a beautiful experience meeting all of you, and I'm thoroughly impressed by and very happy with whatever I heard from the Toastmaster of the day, Marie. Talking today about the history of Toastmasters. She introduced the history of Toastmasters. Can you hear me? Again, I have lost you, so I'm not very sure if you can hear me.
We can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear.
Are you able to hear me?
Recording in progress.
Okay. So she beautifully described the history of Toastmasters. And the introduction was very beautiful. She talked about the way the rights, values, respect, integrity, service. How 1973 was the first year for a woman to join Toastmasters. That too, she had to cut off her hair. Oh God, it's too much.
You have two voices. So you have two different forms of communication turned on. One, okay, let's try it now.
Yes, the lab would do that, yes. So it was very beautiful listening to her introduction, the thorough analysis, the research that she has done. I'm really very happy about it. It really broke my heart to listen that it was in 1973 that a woman could join even Toastmasters. Forget about her becoming a leader. And for that, she had to cut off her hair, and then she had to take the name of a man. And it was really very heart-rending. Because by 1966 in India, we already had a prime minister. 1947, when we got freedom itself, the governor of Uttar Pradesh was the woman. So it really broke my heart, the struggle that women had to do this part of the world. It breaks my heart. Anyway, we have come a long way, and it's beautiful to listen to. The timer script, the Toastmasters advises us to be specific. So we need to say that speaker 1 has got speaker 1 and 2 today has got 5 to 7 minutes. So 5 is the minimum time and 7 is the maximum time. At 5 minutes, the screen will turn green and demonstrate it. And at 6 minutes, the screen will turn yellow and demonstrate it. And at 7 minutes, the screen will turn red, demonstrate it. And then say the screen will remain red until the speaker completes the speech. The speech will not be, the timer will not give any indication that the timing is closed. And generally for voting, the minimum time has to be completed, and extra 30 minutes buffer time is given over the maximum time allotted in order to be eligible for voting. This is generally the rule that is given. We did not have a voting here, so I do not know whether we have generally the practice of selecting the best speaker, best evaluator, best table topic speaker. The Zoom allows us to do that. So probably we can have polls like that and then do that. That will make it also very interesting, more competitive. About the speakers, what do I say? Both the speakers were wonderful, and I have given to them my separate comments when I wrote to them. It was very interesting, and from both the speakers, I had a wonderful takeaway. From the first speaker, Traka, her closing was Toastmasters is not about perfection, it is about progress. Life is all about that, isn't it? It's not just Toastmasters. So Toastmasters is something that stretches beyond the four walls of the meeting. Life is always about progress, not just perfection. None of us can ever be perfect, probably, right? So, because we all have our own standards and everything is very subjective. Perfection is a very subjective word. So that is what Toastmasters teaches us, to understand differences and appreciate differences, not just accept the differences, but celebrate the differences. That is what we have learned from Toastmasters. And about the 9 lives, Catherine really stole my heart, because yes, we not only need 9 lives, perhaps 90 lives in a lifetime. And so very well explained. I had my suggestions, which I have written to both the speakers too. And as far as the evaluators are concerned, very beautifully done. And for evaluation, one thing is very important. Before the speech begins, the evaluator has to give what exactly is the objective of the project. The evaluator has to read it out, and so that the audience can evaluate, was the speech objective fulfilled? And when the evaluator starts the speech, or at least while he closes, the evaluator needs to say that you have fulfilled the speech objective, so you can move to the next level. That is a very important thing that need to say. Secondly, a speech evaluator first says, Traka, I must congratulate you on your beautiful completion of your project number 4 in dynamic leadership. And then proceed to include everybody and not just address the speaker, because you don't want to keep all the audience away and just speak to the speaker. You are including everybody. So what you would say is, today, the target speaker, Traka, spoke about how she tried to improve her interaction in Toastmasters. We learned these. Everything he pointed out so beautifully, but do it in third person so that you include everybody in the audience. They feel that you're addressing them and not just speaking to the target speaker. So generally, because all of us are going to participate in evaluation contest, not just evaluation contest, even in our everyday life, it becomes very important. When we talk to one person in a family and all the others are sitting in the room, they feel that they are not included. So if we want to include, even when we're appreciating one person, you did an excellent job today, you cooked very well, all of us appreciated it, isn't it? Then people feel included. That is very important. So that those two things I just wanted to point out. And I'm very sorry for the frequent interruptions that of Zoom that I'm having it for the last 3 days. We have changed the router and we have informed the company. Still nothing has been done. So that is the issue. Thank you so much. And over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for stepping in and taking on 2 roles. My goodness. So meticulously done. And our hat is off to you. Let's give her a round of applause, please. Thank you so much. And now I'd like to have a comment from our guest. Would you like to unmute and say something or tell us what you thought of the meeting tonight?
Hi, hi. I'm Norazali. I'm from Malaysia. Wait, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. In Malaysia now is the morning, so good morning. This is my first time joining Toastmasters International. I'm very happy. I just now actually about 15 minutes the meeting started. I just know that, so I say that, oh, I have a free time this morning, so I joined this meeting. Basically, I'm really happy I made this decision because of the a very beautiful speech from our speaker. Is it Teresa? Teresa, and another one is our it didn't find another one. I really appreciate the personal story that you share with us, and it's very inspiring. And I wish if can maybe in the future, I wish to taking roles in this meeting. Thank you so much. Over to you.
We are so very glad to have you with us. Let's give our guest a round of applause, please. She spoke well, and thank you for staying up or getting up this early just to join us. Thank you so much. If there are no other comments, is there someone that has the connections to take a picture?
Yeah, so let me take the picture.
Okay.
Okay, so it's time for customary picture. So everybody please smile, and on the count of three, I'll take the picture. It's 3, 2, 1. Smile. Then.
Thank you so very much. We have gone over time slightly, but think about it. For 100 years of Toastmasters, it's only befitting that we go over slightly. It's a good thing we didn't go over in terms of years, okay? So thank everyone for being here tonight. It was a wonderful meeting. Thank you so much. And morning for the other person who's in Malaysia. But I'm so glad that you were here. We look forward to our next meeting. Get in touch with Rajat so that we can get everything going for the next meeting. I'm sure he'll put out the roles and we'll just have to confirm. Thank you so much. The speeches were great. The table topics were phenomenal. The meeting went off well. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Bye.